Welcome again to another fantastic episode of the Shadûf podcast. I'm Dustin Harding, head of research at the Shadûf Institute, and we have here Weston Smith.
The guy who's just hanging around. Just a regular guy in the neighborhood.
It's like, here's this guy in the hallway.
Hey, can you come in here?
I need somebody to talk to, please. Well, actually, this episode is something you brought up, which is pretty cool. But we also wanted to talk about what on earth is a Shadûf.
I bet people have had this question in their head, like what is that name? That is a weird name.
Yeah. Is this the last name of some sponsor, like a crazy name of a sponsor? But no, that's not it. No. This is a name that I don't know. So Weston and I have talked like years about doing something along the lines of Shadûf.
Right.
But it's been the past, I don't know, we've had this name like about a year ago.
Yeah.
So what is a Shadûf, Weston?
A Shadûf, oh man. So it's a device with a lever developed in ancient Egypt.
Yeah.
I think originally.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm not a historian, but that's what they say, right? It drops a line, an anchor down into a well. And it's used usually for like irrigation or something so that people can make use out of the water from the ground.
Yeah. We came across this name is because we felt like there's this gap, I guess, between academia and the real world. Academics are so interested in theory, or that's at least what the real world says, and they're mostly true. But academics are so focused on theory that the research that they do doesn't really apply. And yet there's like this well of research knowledge, especially using research methodology, and you can take that theory and apply it in real world concepts. But there's this rich, research well of knowledge.
It's kind of obscured from everyone's view.
Yeah. I think we're looking at names and words related to well, resource, like water.
Right.
And that's where we found Shadûf.
Shadûf.
And that is kind of exactly what, for the real world, we're trying to be this anchor that dips into this well of research knowledge.
Right.
And try to bring it to...
So that people can utilize it.
To the people, so they can utilize it. So we can actually take some of the things that we've been doing in business for years and years and years and actually take a step back and look at the research. Challenge it a bit. Yeah, so we are
and
trying to be the Shadûf. And it's a fun name. It's a fun name.
We like to have fun, okay?
Leave us alone, okay?
Yeah.
So that's kind of the concept behind Shadûf.
Shadûf.
And it makes me think we kind of fell into this opportunity. The Woodbury School of Business was able to get this funding going, so we could get going, which is awesome. But it does make me think, because we had to rush, we just hurried really quick on the logo design.
Right. And
it makes me think we will, especially when COVID-19 settles down and we can use some of the amazing instruments at the Smart Lab, like the eye tracker, especially the eye tracker. I think it'd be nice to test out some different logo designs.
Totally. So you guys wait. You guys might see a rebranding here, or everyone might just like it the way it is. Who knows?
And it maybe could be something with the font Sans Forgetica. So that's the topic of the episode today.
This is what we're going to talk about.
Sans Forgetica.
I've got something for you guys. So Sans Forgetica, and I do graphic design, so I actually designed the logo. We did do, by the way, just a side note, we did do some research on the name Shadûf.
We did. We tested out different variations.
Just not on
so we could
design and
branding. Shadûf is spelled with double O's instead of a U, and then we also tested out a simple U versus a U with the carrot top, the circumflex.
Circumflex, that's what it's called, you guys. If you ever wondered what that little hat over the U was.
It's a circumflex.
It's a circumflex.
So we tested those out, and it was actually really cool. Shadûf with double O's was looked at as fun, but that was about it. Like, it didn't seem very professional. When you're talking about research.
Something to be taken seriously.
Yeah, it wasn't very serious. Shadûf with a U was just kind of boring, but the circumflex was just the right tweak. That one was more legitimate, was more professional, and still had that fun flair.
Right.
So you're right. We totally did research that out.
We did. and we'll keep researching. So we're talking
I
fonts.
forgot. What are we talking about?
Fonts. Sans
Forgetica?
Forgetica. So this is what it is. We're talking about fonts, and I love fonts. And so font talk is so much fun. And if you guys meet, whether you are or have dabbled in graphic design or anything, like fonts are just a fun topic.
Sounds like a blast.
Guys, man, we have conventions and parties. And
Obviously, I'm not a graphic
we
designer.
get together and just
Hey guys, did you see the new font?
someone made a new. No, this is font news though. This is fun font news that I think everyone will like.
Yeah, no, it's cool research. It's cool research.
Based in research, and that's kind of why we're bringing it up here.
Yeah.
So RMIT University out of Melbourne, Australia, they designed this font. It's a font. It's really interesting. You guys can look it up. In fact, you can download it for free. They let you download it for free. It's supposed to improve memory
Of whatever is written, right?
They did a whole bunch of tests where people would read things in different fonts, took several notes of what they were wanted to do. They have like gaps in the font. So it's actually really interesting. You look at the font, you're like, whoa, it's kind of jarring, but that's what's supposed to apparently ingrain it into your memory so that you don't forget what information you read of it.
Yeah, your brain has to complete the wording.
Right.
It's not immediately be like, oh, that's what this word says. It takes a second for your brain to put the pieces together because the letters aren't all the way together.
Yeah, and the gaps, I mean, because you see gaps in other fonts and stuff like that, but this one has like irregular gaps. So they're not like in the same place, they're not like the same width, like some gaps are bigger than others, so,
Yeah.
The other cool thing about this too is it's italicized backwards. So usually italics kind of lean toward the right.
Right.
This one kind of leans backwards.
And I think this is cool because I believe the researchers, they're building on theory from design and psychology, and they talk about the desirable difficulty. If it's difficult for you to kind of put together, that can be a good thing, and it can help with memory, which is what they're testing out, right?
Right.
But it's a desirable difficulty. If
It's a balance.
Yeah, it's a balance. If you get too difficult, then there's too much rigor going on, and you kind of shut down. It's tiring, and that's not going to be good. If it's too easy, then it's
forgettable, and you look over.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing with like logos and just any design. Like if something gets too busy, we don't like to look at it. We don't like to sit and take the time to figure it out. It's too much mental energy. But if it's too simple, too basic, right? Then it's just like, oh, that's nothing, right?
Yeah.
It's also cool too because we have ties to academics, and they kind of tout this as something good to like help students, as they're studying for finals and things like that. So.
I wonder how well that'd work. But I do think it's so interesting that for a brand, you can test out different fonts. You can do different things, and not only could it have an impact on how much people like the font or the branding, but it can have an impact on how memorable it is.
Right. Yeah. If I've done like freelance design work for some people, I'll send off, some samples to them, like some concepts and stuff like that. And they ask like 6 people, like, what do you like better? And it's always this challenge. It's always this fight to be like, okay, that's not real market research that you're doing.
Yep.
And you may like it, you may not, but it's just like, how much do you want to like your logo, and how much do you want other people to like your logo?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you want to like your logo, but it's just you do have to get that outside perspective.
Yeah.
Which we're always doing, right?
Yeah. And I think it's that brings up, like, it highlights the importance of experimental design. I mean, if you just show somebody a bunch of different fonts and or a bunch of different brand designs, logo designs, and you say, hey, which one do you like more? All of a sudden they're comparing different logos to others, and what that does is oftentimes it'll influence them and say, well, which one, if you design this, I wonder which one Weston likes more. I wonder which one I should like more between the two.
Right.
Whereas with experimental design, I only see one version, and I rate that one version, and another person sees another version, and then you kind of compare all of those versions together to see there's just less bias,
right?
That way.
So there you go, you guys. So you can go, just search Sans Forgetica. I love the name too, by the way, Sans Forgetica. Sans serif within font language. It means it doesn't have the little ends on the fonts, but it means without.
Yeah.
And so Sans Forgetica is like without forgetting. It's kind of like a fun little play on words. So it's just it's a cool font, and use it if you want to remember. Maybe put those on flashcards or something if you want to remember something.
Yeah.
So
That's good.
little tip for you.
Well, thanks for bringing that topic up. It's awesome research, Weston.
If you guys have any interesting research-based articles or things that other people have done, go ahead and send them our way.
Yeah, we'd be happy to talk about them.
Yeah, we'd love to bring up that kind of stuff on this podcast. Might be the reason why we made this podcast.
Maybe. I think so. So go ahead and email them our way. You can email us at info@shadoof.org.
SHADUF.org. Don't have to put the circumflex on that one.
Nope. You can reach out to us on our social media platforms. We're on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. We'd love to hear your questions and see what research you found to be useful. We'd like to thank our sponsor, the Woodbury School of Business. We're happy with that partnership. And till we see you again on the next episode of the Shadoof Podcast.